This deaf puppy was buried alive. How he was saved will send shivers down your spine. Before we dive into this heart-wrenching tale, please hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us and is the only way we can share stories of these brave souls who often go unheard. Together we can bring light to their struggles and triumphs. So please subscribe now. In a small, forgotten corner of the world, the sun cast long shadows over a desolate alley. Trash littered the ground, remnants of lives lived in a hurry. The air was thick with despair, but in the midst of this darkness lay a flicker of life, a tiny, deaf puppy. His fur was matted, his body frail, and yet, there was an undeniable spark in his eyes. He had been buried alive, left alone in a world that didn't want him. As the wind howled through the alley, it carried with it the faint whimpers of a creature fighting for survival. No one knew he was there. Buried beneath layers of dirt and debris hidden from the world. The cries of other dogs echoed in the distance, but he could not hear them. He could only feel the weight of the earth pressing down on him, a reminder of his isolation. But there was a change in the air. A passerby, a kind-hearted stranger, felt something was wrong. Their intuition led them to the alley, where they noticed a slight movement in the dirt. With each shovelful of earth they cleared, hope began to rise. The world outside was chaotic, but in that moment, everything else faded away. It was just them and the tiny puppy, buried alive but not yet lost. As the last bits of dirt were brushed aside, the puppy's eyes met the stranger's. A connection forged in that silent moment, a promise that he would not face this world alone anymore. The journey from darkness to light was about to begin, and with it, the story of survival that would send shivers down your spine. In the heart of that forgotten alley where the sun rarely shone, a small community of shopkeepers and residents began to take notice of the strange, haunting presence that loomed in the shadows. The deaf puppy, whom they would soon come to know as Ollie, seemed to have an unyielding spirit, a quiet determination that set him apart from the other strays wandering the streets. Despite his dire condition, he sat vigilantly at the edge of the alley, as if waiting for something, or someone. Shopkeepers, initially indifferent, began to leave scraps of food outside their doors, hoping to entice him. Yet, day after day, the puppy would merely sniff the offerings, his soulful eyes reflecting a longing that no morsel could satisfy. "What's he waiting for?" whispered a local baker, wiping her hands on her apron as she gazed out at the forlorn creature. Children paused on their way home from school, their voices hushed in awe. "Look at him. Do you think he's waiting for his family?" As the days turned into weeks, Ollie became a fixture of the neighborhood. Some speculated he was searching for his lost family, clinging to a hope that seemed as fragile as his frail body. Others, however, pondered darker possibilities. "What if he's protecting something?" a grizzled old man muttered, peering curiously from beneath his weathered cap. "Maybe he's got a secret buried with him." Despite their differing theories, one thing was clear. Ollie had captured their hearts. A local schoolteacher, Ms. Jenkins, began bringing toys and blankets, hoping to coax him into her classroom. "He deserves a chance," she said, her eyes glistening with compassion. "He's seen too much darkness already." The children rallied around her, their innocence shining through as they created colorful signs that read, "Save Ollie, and we love you, little pup." But as the community rallied, a tension simmered just beneath the surface. Not everyone was kind in their interest. A few residents whispered of the puppy's origin, recalling rumors of a nearby illegal breeding operation. "They say those people use dogs like they are nothing," a shopkeeper grimly warned, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if he's one of theirs? What if they come looking for him?" The fear was palpable. And it hung in the air like a thick fog, casting a shadow over the growing affection for the puppy. The children's laughter faded as they glanced over their shoulders, wondering if danger lurked nearby. "We need to do something, quick," one girl exclaimed, her hands trembling as she clutched her sign tighter. "What if we lose him?" As the community banded together, they began to investigate Ollie's story. They shared their observations and suspicions, piecing together a narrative that chilled their hearts. "I saw a van parked near the woods last week," one man shared anxiously. "It was all black, and I swear I heard barking coming from inside." It was becoming clear that Ollie was not just a lost puppy. He was a symbol of something much larger, a call to action against the cruelty that often went unnoticed. The more they learned, the stronger their resolve grew. "We can't let this happen again," Ms. Jenkins declared one evening, her voice steady and determined. "We need to protect him and all the others like him." As the first signs of dusk fell, the alley transformed into a hub of activity. Flyers were printed and meetings were organized, all fueled by a shared mission to uncover the truth and ensure that Ali's story would not fade into the shadows. With each passing day, the community's bond grew stronger, their hearts entwined by the unbreakable spirit of a puppy who had already endured so much. But unbeknownst to them, a sinister presence was watching. In the shadows, the illegal breeders operated under the cover of darkness, their hearts as cold as the night. They had heard whispers of a puppy that had escaped their grasp, and they would stop at nothing to reclaim what they believed was theirs. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to comment from where you are hearing this amazing story. As Ali lay curled up in a makeshift bed of blankets, he felt the warmth of the community surrounding him, a stark contrast to the cold earth that had once imprisoned him. Little did he know that his journey was only just beginning. The winds of change were stirring, and with them came the promise of hope, resilience, and the fight for justice that would echo far beyond that alley. In the days that followed, Sarah, the veterinarian who had saved Ali, began to visit regularly, her heart heavy with the knowledge of what lay ahead. She had sensed the darkness in her dreams and now it felt all too real. "We have to be vigilant," she instructed Ms. Jenkins and the others during one of her visits. "These people won't give up easily." The community's resolve only strengthened at her words. They began to set up a watch, their nights filled with whispered conversations and careful planning. The stakes were high, but so was their determination. As Ali grew stronger, so did the community's awareness of the cruelty hidden just beyond their borders. In the days to come, they would uncover a web of deceit that reached far and wide, and Ali would become the beacon of hope in their fight against the darkness. Little did they know, the shadows cast by the breeders would stretch far beyond their quiet neighborhood, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The tension was palpable as they prepared for the battle that would soon unfold. A confrontation that would not only determine Ali's fate but the fate of countless others trapped in the cycle of cruelty. The community, once fractured and indifferent, now stood united, ready to fight for justice, driven by the unyielding spirit of one tiny, deaf puppy who had captured their hearts and ignited a fire within their souls. As the days turned into weeks, Ali's presence in the community became a symbol of resilience and hope. The townspeople looked upon him with a mix of admiration and sorrow, their hearts swelling with a protective instinct that seemed to grow stronger with each passing moment. However, amidst the warmth of newfound camaraderie, a shadow loomed, one that threatened to unravel the fragile peace they had built. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the alley, a sudden commotion erupted. A group of neighborhood children, armed with signs and a cacophony of laughter, ran toward Ali, their eyes sparkling with joy. But their merriment was cut short when a sleek, black van pulled up, its ominous presence sending shivers down their spines. The van's engine purred menacingly as the doors slid open, revealing figures cloaked in darkness. Fear gripped the hearts of the onlookers, their bodies frozen in place as they watched the scene unfold. The once vibrant alley was now painted in shades of dread. The children quickly gathered around Ali, instinctively shielding him from the impending threat. "Stay back," shouted Ms. Jenkins, her voice trembling but resolute. The community had been preparing for this moment, but nothing could have prepared them for the cold reality of facing the very people they had feared. As the figures stepped out, the air thickened with tension, and the realization hit hard. These were the breeders, the shadows that had haunted their dreams. But just as the confrontation seemed inevitable, a surprising revelation pierced through the chaos. One of the figures stepped forward, pulling back the hood of their dark coat to reveal a familiar face, a face that sent shockwaves through the crowd. It was Sarah, the veterinarian who had rescued Ali. "What are you doing here?" gasped Ms. Jenkins, confusion mingling with relief. "I'm here to help," Sarah replied, her voice steady despite the turmoil surrounding her. "But I need you to trust me. This isn't what it seems." The community felt a collective breath hitch in their throats. They had believed Sarah to be an ally, but now doubt crept into their hearts. Whispers rippled through the crowd. "Is she one of them? Has she been deceiving us all along?" "Ali is in danger," Sarah continued, her eyes pleading. "If we don't act fast, they'll take him back. But I've been gathering evidence against these people. They need to be stopped." The crowd stood frozen, grappling with the weight of her words. The tension shifted, and for a moment, everything hung in the balance. Prejudices simmered just beneath the surface, forcing the community to confront their assumptions about loyalty, trust, and the complexities of their fight against cruelty. "Why should we believe you?" a voice called out from the back, a man's voice filled with skepticism. "How do we know you're not just playing us?" Sarah's heart raced, but she refused to back down. Because I've seen the horrors they inflict on innocent animals. I've witnessed the pain, the suffering. I've risked everything to expose them. I'm not just a veterinarian, I'm their worst nightmare. Slowly, the tension began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of unity. The townspeople's hearts swelled with empathy as they realized that Sarah was not their enemy but their ally in a much larger battle. They felt the weight of their hidden prejudices, the fear of the unknown that had clouded their judgment. Then let's stand together, Ms. Jenkins declared, her voice ringing with conviction. We won't let them take Ollie. We'll fight for him and for all the animals trapped in their grasp. With renewed determination. The community rallied around Sarah, their fears cast aside as they united for a common cause. They formed a protective circle around Ollie, their hearts beating in rhythm with the hope that surged through them. As the breeders advanced, Sarah and the townspeople stood firm, a wall of unwavering resolve. They were no longer just a group of individuals, they had become a force fueled by a shared commitment to justice. And Ollie, the little deaf puppy who had endured so much, now stood at the center of this burgeoning movement, a beacon of light in the face of darkness. But the confrontation was far from over. The breeders, sensing the shift in power, exchanged glances of malice. They were not just here for Ollie, they were here to reclaim their lost empire, and they would stop at nothing to regain control. As the tension escalated, Sarah whispered to the crowd, "Remember, we have the truth on our side. They may be powerful, but they are not invincible. Together, we can expose their cruelty and protect those who cannot protect themselves." With renewed strength, the community prepared for the battle ahead, ready to confront the darkness that had plagued their lives for far too long. They had come to understand that their fight was not just for Ollie, but for every voiceless creature that had suffered in silence. The time for action had come and they would not back down. As the night deepened, the alley became a battleground of hope and defiance, a testament to the strength that lies within unity. The fight for Ollie's future was just beginning, and the community was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They would rise together, fueled by love, compassion, and the unyielding spirit of a tiny puppy who had captured their hearts and ignited a flame of justice that would burn bright against the shadows. As the confrontation reached a boiling point, the atmosphere was thick with tension and uncertainty. The community stood resolute, forming a protective barrier around Ollie, their hearts pounding in unison with the rhythm of fear and determination. The breeders, clad in their dark attire, exuded an air of menace, their intentions clear as they eyed the little puppy at the center of it all. "Step aside," one of the men barked, his voice cutting through the night like a knife. "That dog belongs to us." But the townspeople were undeterred. Jenkins stepped forward, her voice steady, echoing with the strength of their collective resolve. "Ollie belongs to no one but himself. You've tormented him long enough. We won't let you take him." The words reverberated through the crowd, igniting a fire within them. They had rallied around Ollie not just as a pet but as a symbol of all that was wrong in their world, an embodiment of innocence caught in the crossfire of greed and cruelty. Sarah, standing at the forefront, had a plan. "We have evidence of your abuse," she shouted, confidence surging through her. "We've gathered testimonies, photographs, and video of your operation. The authorities are already on their way." A murmur rippled through the crowd. The realization dawning upon them that this was not just a fight for Ollie but a battle against a network of darkness that had long gone unchecked. The breeders exchanged glances, their bravado faltering as the weight of their own actions began to settle in. "Let's see if you can prove it," one of the men sneered, but his bravado was a mask for the fear that gnawed at him. Just then, the distant sound of sirens sliced through the air, growing louder with each passing second. The community's hearts raced, not in fear but in exhilaration. "They're here," someone yelled, and a cheer erupted from the crowd. The breeders, sensing their imminent defeat, began to retreat. "This isn't over," one of them hissed, but the community stood firm, a wall of unity and strength against the encroaching darkness. As the police arrived, lights flashing and sirens blaring, the scene unfolded like a movie. Officers stepped out, their presence a beacon of hope. "What's going on here?" one officer demanded, surveying the scene. Sarah stepped forward, her voice unwavering. "These men are part of an illegal breeding operation. They've been mistreating animals for years. We have evidence." The officers exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from confusion to determination. "We'll take it from here," one of them asserted, moving to apprehend the breeders. As the men were led away in handcuffs, the community erupted into cheers. They had faced their fears, stood together, and emerged victorious. But the battle was far from over. In the days that followed, the impact of their actions resonated throughout the town and beyond. News of Ali's rescue and the community's stand against cruelty spread like wildfire, igniting a movement for animal rights that captured the hearts of many. Social media buzzed with hashtags supporting Ali and condemning the breeders, and donations poured in for local animal shelters. Ali, once a symbol of despair, became a beacon of hope. He was no longer just a deaf puppy buried alive. He was a survivor, a testament to the power of community and compassion. He found a forever home with Ms. Jenkins, where he was showered with love and care. As the community celebrated their victory, they also reflected on the journey they had taken together. They had learned that compassion could spark change, that unity could overcome darkness, and that even the smallest voice could echo loudly in the face of injustice. But the echoes of their fight reached far beyond their town. Inspired by Ali's story, neighboring communities began to take action, demanding stricter regulations on breeding and better treatment of animals. The movement grew, and soon, legislation was proposed to protect animals from cruelty on a larger scale. Sarah, the veterinarian who had first heard Ali's cries, became a leading voice in the movement. She traveled to speak at rallies, sharing Ali's story and advocating for change. "If we can save one life, we can save many," she often said, her voice filled with passion. As Ali basked in the love of his new family, he had no idea of the ripple effect he had created. He had transformed from a buried puppy into a champion of change, and his spirit would continue to inspire compassion in countless hearts. In the quiet moments, as he lay curled up in a warm bed surrounded by children's laughter, Ali would sometimes dream of the darkness he had escaped. But now it was just a memory, a testament to the resilience of a tiny puppy who had fought against the odds. And as the sun set each evening, the community would gather to share stories of their journey, reminding each other that they had the power to make a difference. They had learned that even in the face of darkness, hope could shine brightly, illuminating the path for those who came after. If this story is touching your heart, make sure to subscribe for more incredible stories like this one. The legacy of Ali would continue, a reminder that love, compassion, and unity could conquer even the darkest of circumstances. And as the stars twinkled above, they stood together ready to face whatever came next, bonded by the unbreakable spirit of their little deaf puppy who had buried himself in their hearts forever.